Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at pretty much everything you need to know about the Star Wars Battlefront beta game. Star Wars Battlefront, this is the third Battlefront game. It is technically the third Battlefront game. It is not Star Wars Battlefront 3 though, if that makes sense. So it's not in a consecutive order. 10 years ago, Battlefront 2 was released, and no one has made a game yet. But this is not made by the same people. Either way, it's made by DICE, who created the Battlefield franchise, and you're going to see a lot of resemblances of Battlefield, the modern day games like Battlefield 3 and 4, and then also back into the old days of Battlefield 1942. So, who we get to play as in this game is pretty much just original trilogy characters such as the Rebels and the Stormtroopers, so Rebel Alliance and Imperial Army. We're going to be looking at first some of the different collectibles before we check out the game, because you're going to be using these in the game. This is just a little what your character looks like as the Rebels. It changes. First, we're going to be looking at the weapons. We have the A290C or 280C, however you want to say it. Pretty much a traditional Rebel blaster. It looks a lot like an MP44 or Sturmgewehr 44, a German assault rifle from World War II. I thought that was kind of interesting because they're supposed to be the good guys in the game, or at least in the Star Wars movie series, whatever. Here we have the E11 blaster rifle, which is a Stormtrooper classic Stormtrooper rifle, which is great. The Rebel blaster fires faster. It is the stock blaster. You can unlock both to use on either side, but when you originally start out playing the game, you have to use the faction-specific weapon. So if you're playing as a Stormtrooper, you will be using the E11 until you can buy the Rebel blaster. But out of the two, I've only used these two. I'm only using these two because the other two weapons we're going to be looking at later, I prefer to refer to people who use the DLT-19 as shitters, and I'll explain to you why later. This is a high fire rate, kind of like lower damage AR. It does the job. It's really good. But the E11, you can like nuke people with 2 headshots. So, but you have that fire rate. A lot of the game is based around fire rate versus damage, because people just spam it. So in my opinion, I think the E11 is the hardest weapon to use in the game. I do enjoy using it a lot, and this is the weapon you'll probably see most of my gameplays with. Next, we have the DH-17 pistol. People use it as a primary weapon. It's fully automatic. This is pretty much the first Rebel blaster you see in Episode 4 when the Stormtroopers raid Princess Leia's ship. It's very good. You can get smoked with it really easily, because if someone's a skilled player with this thing, they're going to nuke you, and that's it. This gun right here, again, why I call people who use this shitters, because this thing, it deals low damage, but the fire rate is ungodly, and they're just cone bullets at you. It's not even funny. And I think it's actually kind of interesting, because the model of the weapon, when George Lucas was designing this gun here with the rest of his film crew and everything, they were modeling it after yet another German weapon known as the MG42. So if you look at it here and you go Google a picture of MG42, they're pretty identical. So anyways, those are the weapons we're going to be looking at. Next, we're going to be checking out some of the other unlocks known as star cards. The star cards, if you played Battlefield 1942, you'll see this setup right here, and it looks very familiar to the setup that they had there for grenades and so forth. What happens is that there's no ammo in the game. Every weapon will regenerate its ability. So if you're shooting your gun, you'll see that it overheats. You have to let it cool down. There's also a little cooldown like thing, kind of like the reload. The quick reload from like Gears of War. If you click it at the right time, it reloads it really fast. Pretty much that's what that it is for the blasters. But for the star cards here, which are kind of like your like equipment slash perks, they recharge at a much slower rate than your weapon. So for star cards, first of all, these are all considered, these 4 right here, they can go either on the outside. Those are your outside cards. You have your upper card, which are abilities. You have Ion Shot, which pretty much makes it so that the shots can take down personal shields faster, and they take out droids and vehicles and stuff like that. I don't use it because I just don't. I prefer the personal shield. The personal shield, you'll see, I'll go over some different tactics I use for using the shield later on. It's pretty much the Jordica shield from the second Star Wars Battlefront game. The only way you can really kill anyone with this shield active, you have to go inside the shield and melee them, but it reflects all forms of energy. So lasers, all that stuff like that doesn't go through, except for the cycler rifle, which we're going to look at next. Is pretty much the sniper rifle. It takes like an 8-second cooldown or 7-second cooldown, something like that. And it is not a one-hit kill unless you hit someone in the head. However, it does deplete 90% of your health, so if you have 100 health and you get hit by it, you will only have 10 health remaining. A lot of people, again, referring to the shitters, use the DLT, the big light machine gun thing. They'll hit you with this sniper rifle, and then they just spray you across the map, and they're going to hit you with one of the bullets, and it's annoying as hell. Next is the jump pack. It's great. It's pretty much this massive boost blast pack. You can't hover with it, you just launch. That's all you do, is you just launch. It's hilarious, it's fun, it's awesome. It takes about 15 seconds to regenerate, and it can really, if you have enough points, I'd get it, because it really is going to help you out getting across those maps. Next is the ion grenade. Does pretty much the same thing as the ion shot, only it's in a grenade form. And then we have the thermal detonator, which is the traditional classic hand grenade. And what that does is, you throw them and they blow up. They do have a timer, so they will blow up in the air. Next we have the trade card right here called Sharpshooter. This is the only one that they have available right now. And what this does is pretty much acts like a specialist type bonus with a tweak to it. But what that means is for level 1, there's 3 levels. Level 1, you have to get a certain amount of headshots or kills or grenade kills or whatever, objective captures. Once you've reached that, you will be awarded the level 1, or level 2 rather, Sharpshooter. And what that does is that it will reduce level 2 reduces the cooldown for all of your equipment by a small percent, like 25%, and then level 2 is like 45-50%, and then level 3 is around 70-75%. So instead of the 9-second timer for your grenade to recharge before you can throw another one, that's more around like a 3 or 4 second timer. You can't just keep lobbing grenades out, but it really helps you out. And what happens is when you die, you get back to level. So if you were 3 before you died, you die, your spawn is 4. So the way these work, you can have, like I said here, you can have the 4 lethals on the outside, and then you have the non-lethal ability on the inside. One other thing I'm going to point out, which I'm not going to show you guys yet because it has to take place in the game, they are pickups, and they're pickups within each game. Now, we're going to go over to play real quick. We're going to look over to multiplayer. We have 2 different game modes. We have Drop Zone, which is 16 players, so 8v8. And then we have Walker Assault, which is 40 players. That's a lot. So it's 20v20. The objective for the Walker Assault pretty much is replaying the Empire Strikes Back battle where the Imperial Walkers come through and they are trying to destroy the Rebel base. So what happens is these Imperial Walkers cannot be harmed unless, of course, the Y-Wing bombers come in, and the only way the Y-Wing bombers come in is if the Rebel Alliance activates these uplink stations, and the Imperials have to shut them down. If they successfully activate the uplink stations, Y-Wing bombers will come in and they will hit the AT-ATs, and they will take a little bit of health off them, and they will also deplete their shields, and they will have no shields for a set amount of time. I think it's like 20 seconds, and that's when everybody just dumps everything they have into the walkers. The objective for the rebels is to destroy the walkers before they reach their base, which is their big, like, weird swirly shield thingy at the back. And the objective for the Imperials is to support the walkers, take out the power nodes, and get the walkers up close enough so they can use their cannons and destroy the Rebel base's shield generator. What we see here, this tiny little weird ring thing, what that means is that there's heroes in the game, meaning that you can only play as Darth Vader and as Luke Skywalker in this game mode, and this is like the little taste of the Jedi versus Sith that they have in the game. It's very cool. I've killed Darth Vader as a rebel, and I've also killed Luke. Luke is incredibly fast, so just watch out for him. I think I saw a video earlier of him getting stomped on by a Imperial Walker. It was hilarious. And then we also have like an X-Wing fighter right here. These are different vehicles you can use in this game mode only, not in Drop Zone. The Rebels use the X-Wing fighters, they also use the A-Wing fighters, which is awesome, and the Snow Speeders. The Snow Speeders, I didn't see anyone using the grapple. I don't think you can. The Imperials have TIE fighters and TIE interceptors. That's pretty much it. Every pickup that I'm going to explain to you in the Drop Zone is also over here in the Walker Assault. Also, the Imperials have ATSTs, the Chicken Walkers, so that's pretty cool as well. A lot of people are saying that the Walker Assault is one-sided, like the Imperials are always winning, and that's not true. It's all about teamwork. So if you can properly defend those, and the Walkers are far back enough so they're not blasting the objectives all the time. They did that really well. So you know, if you're on the Rebels or something like that, which you'll see in later on videos, hopefully you can see that it's going to take a while before those Walkers actually get up to hit those objectives that you were defending. Next we have the Drop Zone, which is probably my favorite game mode out of the two. It's a little less running around. What happens is there's escape pods that are shot down from space, and you have to go to capture them. And the first one who captures 5, first team captures 5 wins, or whenever the timer runs out, 10-minute timer runs out, whoever has the most wins. So what happens is you have to capture, it's like a 40-45 second timer or something like that, maybe a minute. Once that goes by and it's in your hands, it's in your team's control, your possession, you get that point, and they spawn another one in. They only spawn one at a time unless, of course, the same pod is being contested for several minutes back and forth between the teams, and then they'll fire a second one down, so it kind of breaks the action up a little bit. It's a very smart idea, so it's not a stalemate, so not people are spamming grenades and locking down corridors, and it's just a cluster of nothing fun at all. But what happens is when you get the drop pods dropped out, when you have completed them and you get that point, they also drop out 3 pickups, and the pickups can vary between, you can only hold 1 pickup at a time. There's different things like little turrets you can spawn down and control manually. They have auto turrets that you can drop down, and they will automatically shoot enemies and defend a set area. There's also anti-vehicle turrets, which have only in I think the Walker Assault, because there's no vehicles in Drop Zone. Then you also have the proximity mine, which is pretty much like a claymore. If someone passes over it, it will blow up and kill them. They'll also kill you, so watch out for that. Then we have the thermal implosion grenade, which is everybody loves that. It's like this massive grenade with a huge explosion. It just like sucks everything in and has like 3 detonations. It's great. You'll hear it. It's very hard to miss hearing it because it has a very distinct sound. Then we have an orbital strike, which you use a pair of binoculars to lock down a certain area, and then Star Destroyers or the Rebel, whatever the Rebel ships are called, they fire down lasers. And they hit a certain area, and they fire like, I don't know, like 15 shots or something like that. And it's great for clearing out the drop zone. If you see a lot of guys around that drop zone, you have one of those, lock onto the drop zone or wherever you think that they are, and by the time the shots come in, or by the time they're warned about it, there is a warning. It says, you know, orbital strike inbound, or near your area. By the time they're warned about it, chances are they're not going to get out of there unless, of course, they have a jetpack. And even then, you're going to be pretty lucky if you get out of there. My favorite pickup out of all of them is the rocket launcher. It's just so fun to fly over someone with a jetpack and just drop a rocket in their face. It's great, and I can lead the rockets really, really well into people. So I've always had a good time doing that in pretty much any game, leading the target and stuff like that. So that's fun. I'm going to try to make a little montage about that later. But that's pretty much everything you need to know about the multiplayer side of the beta. For the single player side, survival mode, what that is you pretty much just fight off, I think it's 6 different waves. In the full game it's 15, but in this beta it's 6 different waves of Imperial troops, and you also have to take out ATSTs and so forth, and a bunch of other different stuff. So pretty much that's it for the beta. That's everything that I have for you guys right now. We're going to be checking out some gameplay later, but this video has been dragging on for long enough. So I will see you guys online if you're on the beta and PC. If not, I'll see you guys in other videos and live streams. Bye-bye.